but I did get rid of like massive 2-foot worms regularly. I got rid of flukes. I got rid of all sorts of nasty shit, including mucoid plaque. It's a real deal. It's not a lie. You know.
Seen some
you don't like sugar though. You dodge sugar, don't you?
Yeah, I won't consume sugar. That's like
that's probably why you don't have the energy levels you think you should.
Well, I mean, I'm consuming fruit all day, every day, and that's natural sugar. The type of sugar that's in fruit.
Natural.
What?
All sugar is natural. What do you mean?
Well, I disagree because not all sugar can pass your cell wall without needing insulin. Okay. Now, fruit sugar that can pass your cell wall without even needing insulin because it's your most ideal food source for your body. Your body would never reject it or stop it or inhibit it in any way, shape, or form. Now, other sugars your body needs to regulate and uses insulin.
So that could all be true, right? But it wouldn't mean it's not natural, right? Because you can have natural things that harm your body.
Hold on. So white table sugar is cane juice dried out in the sun. So what do you like? Which kind of sugar are you talking about that's unnatural that isn't?
You're telling me that shit? I guess I don't know that much about the processing, but I was always told that it had something to do with bone char. I've never really researched it. I just know that
but yeah,
that's super old method of filtering the sugar. Back in the day, they don't do that anymore. But no, it's just cane. White sugar is just cane juice dried out. That's all it is. And it is, like you said, it is our best, most efficient source of energy. We have glucose. Yeah, like Ellie said, I knew Ellie would show up here. We have glucose receptors on our tongues. We don't have protein or fat receptors on our tongues. We have glucose because the second you put sugar in your mouth, it goes into your system, and your body will actually release some glycogen reserves. The second it notices that you have new glycogen coming in or new glucose coming in, it'll release. So it's very instant source of energy. And my whole life has changed since I've gone high carb and unlimited carb, unlimited sugar. I've done the first 7 years I was on YouTube, I did 80 videos, but then the year after I started doing the high carb stuff, I did 230. I just a big procrastination, a weight off my shoulder just disappeared of a procrastination problem I used to have. And trust me, I met Allie, and Allie told, Allie would eat sugar around me. I'm like, are you insane, woman? What are you doing? But she's Olympic level athlete. So it's okay, so what's going on here? And I just, that's why I go hard against all the low carb stuff, because it's just you're depleting your body of the most important thing. Every cell in your body runs off glucose. Your hormone system runs off glucose. The second you go fat adapted, your thyroid, all your hormone system just shrivels away. And it's just it's super sketchy. What's up, Craig? Craig. Well, where'd he go?
It's popping in and out, looks like.
Here. But yeah, processed sugar, the whole processed, everything processed is bad thing is a real big wives' tale that we need to get past. Processing, we process food by chewing it up. It doesn't mean it's bad by the time it gets in our stomach. A lot of these processes are actually put into the food so we could absorb it better as humans and be more efficient at burning the calories, which is really good. And it's not, everybody's oh, it's just processed is the devil, and it's just whoa, hold on. It's
yeah,
it's kind of amazing. It's processed to make our bodies absorb it better. And yeah, there are things that you can miss out by processing. There are processes that are gross. There are lots of pesticides and garbage like that. But the whole, it just completely, and I respect the raw food thing for sure. It's like me and Allie, we might go to Hawaii, and my buddy's got like a farm there with all these plants and stuff. And like, if I was in that environment all the time, I could probably do it a little bit better, or at least try and do it like, what's it called, raw till 5 or something. You try and eat most of the day raw or whatever. Like that stuff's cool. But I do eat a lot of processed foods because I can't imagine eating only fruit all day. It's just too much fiber for me. At least where I'm at in my life right now, like, I don't know, maybe in the future or something like that. But I do eat a lot of processed foods, and I don't think it's doing anything negative to me. Like if you're working out, if you're like if you eat right and you're fit, sugar heals you. Sugar actually gets rid of the stress hormones that build up in your body. Sugar's pretty dope if you're not a complete turd, like, obviously if you just indulge in everything and do the standard American diet, and just eat whatever you want all the time, that's not going to end well. But I forgot where I was going, but I don't know. Like, I totally respect the raw thing, but I don't think that processed foods are the devil. It's just kind of like Ali said here, where she said it's like a broad term that kind of is vague and is like blanketing all kinds of stuff. It's just like someone saying, "Oh, veganism's unhealthy," and you're like, "Well, it can be, but there's like a lot of nuance to that, and there's a lot of circumstances and scenarios and shit like that." But
here's how I see it. Oh, sorry.
And any sugar, cool thing about glucose is when you have an abundance of it, you just piss it out. It just goes right out of your body. That's like the opposite of what fat and protein does. Fat is fat. Protein can be fat, can turn into fat if you're not actually burning it. It will be stored as fat. So it's, there's a lot of just like myths going around, about that. It's marketing. It's high protein diet marketing. It's, meat and dairy marketing. It's all, BS. Like, oh, eat as much protein as you can. It's just like, ooh, that's gross.
Everybody's got to blame something, something to keep everybody confused. Like the cigarette companies. What was that on What the Health? They brought it up. How their campaign was, doubt is our product, because they wanted to make people doubt whether it's the cigarettes or not when they were proving that shit causes cancer. So as long as they keep us confused and not knowing, and honestly, you might be entirely right about the sugar. Me personally, I try and keep my diet as minimally processed as possible, but I actually do plan on planting some cane sugar and juicing it myself just to try.
Oh my god! So, yeah, fresh raw cane juice is like you drink it and your brain just like goes nuts. It's like, oh my god, this is the shit. Like, as like with any fruit, usually any good fruit, any good fruit, you put that in your mouth, it's like, woo! Like, I get jacked like when I have fruit. And I guarantee people who eat meat don't feel that way.
No, hell no. They're fucking miserable. They got worms and shit, dude. It's disgusting. Fucking, I would never wish a meat-based diet, even on my worst enemies. Like, fucking, why would you ruin your life or wish such evil on people? It's not only are they. Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
Cut you off, brother. I just don't understand it. Like, I used to be that asshole that'd be like, fuck vegans. They don't know what they're talking about. Meat
Same.
makes you manly. As soon as you're educated, you just can't go back to that. You know what I mean? So what
Yeah,
were
it was
you
funny.
gonna say?
My son and his best friend went camping with us, and we took the rig out to the lake, and like they, shit in the, in the bathroom. And like we once we left, we had to go and immediately dump our sewage because it smelled so bad. Those two little meat eater shits. It was like the most, like, me and Allie were like, oh my God, like, and it wasn't like it smelled everywhere. We just like, it just smelled very foreign to us, and it was death. Like, it's just rotting gross, and it was in our house, and we were like, oh my God, like, what the fuck is that? It's gross. Yeah, super gross.
It's the same as when somebody cooks eggs on your frying pan, you smell the residual. Like I said, there's that nasty stench that's left over.
No, there's no doubt about it. When you go vegan, at about the 3-week to a month mark, you go into a supermarket and you hit that meal aisle, and you're like, the meat aisle, and you're like, oh my God, what the fuck is that? Like, it's violent. It's a violent reaction. And that's your body's natural reaction to that kind of stuff that's been dulled down since birth, because you had this diet forced on you when you had no choice when you were a child out of tradition. And all these dudes, I love meat. No, you don't. Like, it tastes like nothing. Like, and it's gross. Like, and if you stopped for a month and went back to it, you'd be repulsed by it. But
dude, if they love that shit, why do they need to fucking chemically react this shit?
Food all over
they got it covered in, covered in plants, all sorts of plant flavor. They don't like that shit. It's a fucking filler that fucking feeds the worms. The worms are telling them they want it. Fucking weird, man.
That's interesting because I do have a very negative reaction to like the ethics of it. Like, if I walk down the meat aisle, I'm like I can't like walk down it. It's like it's unpleasant for me. But I do still like have like, if I think about like eating a steak or something, like just like thinking about the pure like taste pleasure of it, I still do think that like. Yeah, like pushing.
Yeah, because you're remembering a different time when you were a different human and you had a steak and it tasted good. Now, if you're put in that position, you'd be kind of, I don't know, maybe not like, like
I remember it was, like, lab grown or something, right? Like, or like they made like some sort of like Beyond Steak or something. I think like that would like be like similar to like the taste.
Yeah,
I think I would still like it. Yeah.
Well, there's an interesting thing about steak too. It was something I saw a while back, probably Nutrition Facts, Dr. Greger. But if you're iron deficient and you smell somebody cooking a steak and it actually appeals to you, like if you've been on a plant-based diet, usually what that it basically means you're iron deficient.
Iron deficiency. Yeah.
Yeah, that's maybe.
Eggs.
Weird.
Salty eggs used to really get me. I'd be like, oh, salty eggs. Like, sounds so good. But it was always when it was just like a salt thing.
I would blame the iron deficiency or worms. Worms tell you what to think and how to think. So if it goes against your core values and these weird thoughts are popping in, that might be a foreign object. Have you ever fasted and cleaned yourself out, brother?
I fasted in the past.
What kind of fast?
Not in a while. So I actually grew up Mormon. And then, so like once a month, you fast on Sunday. So you don't eat anything on Sunday, and then. So it would just be like a one day thing. Yeah.
One day won't do it. Like, I was juice fasting for 120 days, and I was at like 118, and I kicked out a 2-foot worm. Like, it takes time. It takes a long time to clean out your body. Like, you probably don't want to hear that, but I mean, it's intense. It's insane. Like, you wouldn't believe what's inside of you until you starve what's inside of you. But for the meantime, even if you're eating like a perfect diet, like I've been raw vegan for 5 years, but when you eat wrong and you have like corpses and weird shit inside of you, then that shit lines your innards and leaves a film, like it's called mucoid plaque. Okay, now this mucoid plaque, like, imagine I have a glass of water, and it's the most pristine water you can get on the planet, you know, and I hand you it. It's just great water. You're excited, and I put a couple drops of poison in there. It's the same thing, you know. It doesn't matter how clean the water is because there's poison in it, you know. Well, when you put mucoid plaque into your intestinal system and you put death inside there, and your body reacts and it starts emitting like a mucus film to protect it yourself from being burnt by those corpses and shit, and then it like develops these ropes of horrible shit. Well, you could eat perfect, but that food you're chewing up and putting in that perfect food, it's touching all that toxic shit you put inside there. And some people have worse like stuff that develops from that, or different parasites and stuff. And some people, for some reason, remain relatively healthy. I think they have stronger genes, better microbiome. I think it takes generations to damage this stuff and make it really bad. But yeah, like
Larkin
I
Rose
said,
is the hero.
what?
Larkin Rose is the hero.
He's a bootlicker, man. That motherfucker worships government.
Bootlick? You mean the video? What's it called? When you should shoot a cop is a bootlicking video. Is that what you just said? Excuse me.
Stuff like that.
To be clear,
I don't know who said that, but I want to thank